in front has driven such a great race, and since the safety car came out, this race has had his name all over it then. The Cadillac, all new team this season. Malone has got it all right tonight. He wins the Italian Grand Prix. Right then, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome everybody to Monaco for the second round of the season here on the Tuesday division of MOR. This one, of course, the 6 p.m, and then we go for the 8 p.m. division later on. I'm on commentary for both of them. It should be quite a nice night of racing. 14 people join us for this 6 p.m. race, where Kian sets the first time of the afternoon. Monaco, a race I didn't know we were coming to today, but always a shock. And with 14 people, I'm not too sure how this race is going to go, but I'm sure it will go fairly well. I can see a few fast drivers here. Should be a decent race this evening. Karmad Kyle then, racing in many races in MOR at the minute. He's here with a 1:11.540. First time for him and the quickest out of everybody. Matt Connor then takes second place. Then Kian third, Harvey fourth. An F1 Mikey Boy coming round for his first time of the day. Jack Plays sets fourth now as across the line for JP Combs with 1:11.9 here in Monaco. Goes up to fourth as Mikey Boy takes the fastest lap in the early stages. A 1:11.435 for him. Goes quickest on the banker lap. Of course, a name change as well for him, putting that MOR in there. Nice to see people with the new league name. Mikey, of course, the owner, the man that you'd really expect to be repping the new name. But someone in the barrier there, I'm not entirely sure who that was. But 13 minutes to go, and Mikey Boy in the Red Bull out in front on his first time, setting a fairly decent lap. And for the people in the chat, if you guys are looking forward to this race, make sure you're there for the 8 p.m. one later on as well, because that is the Tuesday division. I say it every week, but the first ever league of MOR esports before, then, of course, it was WRC before that. And the one where it all started on the Tuesday division. That's where we're going later on. I haven't checked what track it is, but hopefully it'll be a decent one here in Monaco. One that many people might hope not to have on the calendar. Last time I did Monaco, I think, was a few weeks ago when we did the stream at 10 p.m. But a bit earlier for this one, 6 o'clock tonight, so should be a little bit easier to get through than the one before. Mikey goes quickest then. The gap about a 1/10 of a second there between him and Jackie. As Ollie Southall joins in the session now, so that'll be 15 out of the possible 22. A lot of space is open. I'm surprised it's not filled here. As Karmad Kyle now takes that spot away again from F1 Mikey Boy. Back to the top spot here in quali. A 1:11.169 for him. It's about 3/10 of a second now quicker than Mikey Boy, who in the Red Bull is going to have to give it his best go now to take that pole position again. 12 minutes left. Yellow flags in that middle sector, the start of the middle sector now. One of the drivers heading slowly. The Racing Bull, I think, letting Karmad Kyle through in the Haas, but of course he's just set his lap time. This is his in lap. After JP as well. He's in the pit lane. The only driver in the pit lane here is a very, very busy Monaco circuit at the minute. Harvey's out there, but the first sector didn't look too good. Lama, the only driver not to set a time, and in the Monday division is pretty damn quick. Mikey Boy now in the 1:11.105. It's back to the top step by about 600ths of a second here over Karmad Kyle. Qualifying very close as Lawless Fever takes the quickest time in the Ferrari. 1:10 now, the only driver into the 1:10s. Can Lama get anywhere near then, as the first sector was showing purple? And yesterday in the Monday tier, I believe, was fairly quick. I'm expecting big things from him today as well. If this middle sector's good, it is purple again. Purple 1 and 2. Can he keep this form up now to the final third? 3 purple sectors, and he's guaranteed that fastest lap. As around the final turn, foot flat to the floor then here in Monaco. Lama from P14. No teammate today, so it's him on his own, and it's just behind Lawless Fever here. He goes into the 1:10s on his banker lap. That is a very good run. Remember, Mikey has set, I think, 2 or 3 maybe laps here, and is now in third, being pushed down by 2 drivers who have been round once. Lawless Fever might have been round twice, but Llama, that was definitely his first time of the day on a banker. I'm expecting time to be found on that particular lap for him, and looking forward to see what he can do in this qualifying session. In my notebook, I think I had it wrote down for the Monday that he did pretty well on the first round of the season. I could be wrong though, unless he was just doing well. No, I didn't write him down, so he must have just been doing well in the race on its own. No, actually, never mind. He did win in Australia for the first round of the Monday 6 p.m. And then, of course, we went to Miami for that, and I've got no idea how he did, to be honest. I cannot remember already. Jensen, though, retires from the session, and that is the first of 14 to be out. I'm not entirely sure why he's retired, how he's retired, but it could have been an accident, or he could have just retired on purpose there. Still 9 minutes to go, though, and a lot of time to get your lap times in, as Lawless Fever did set the quickest time, and I'm not sure if it was a banker lap or, of course, a second run, but he hasn't done more than 2, I don't think. Oh, Jensen crashed apparently. What a shame. Jensen crashes then from qualifying as Lawless Fever into the pit lane then. Llama in second place, and in that first sector finding hole 4/10 at the moment. His banker lap gets him second place at the 1:10.851. About 2/10 of a second needed here for pole position. Already finding a lot more than that through the first sector. Hard braking zone now down towards the chicane into the left-hander, switching it back to the right-hand side and waving by to the yachts on the inside of the marina. Llama now towards the end of sector 2, and it is 4/10 of a second found. Purple sector 2 as well, hitting the wall on the inside, centimetres away now towards the final corner. And the McLaren on his way to the top step of this timing board. Round the final corner, it'll be foot flat to the floor here in Monaco. Llama looking for pole, and he does take that provisional pole position by 3.5 of a second found, but by about 1/10.5 in qualifying from Lawless Fever. And expect the Ferrari to come out again to try and improve on that. As in the chat, Scooters TV and JF1 join us. There's Drew in there as well. No, I didn't, Drew, if you're still here. But I'll talk to you about that at some point. Good to see you all in the chat. Scooters TV returning again. This man's streak for the MOR esports stream is absolutely insane. I think he's in the 80s or something like that, or something like that. Maybe 60 streams that he's been here week by week. Kieran in the chat, I'm very good, mate. Nice to have you with us. Hopefully you're doing well. Kieran should be racing tonight if he is on there. Can't see him. He is, yeah, down in P13. 101. Oh my. Scooters TV now 100 stream streak. 101. Absolutely incredible. He's been here since the start of the TikTok craze. Of course, that has started to die down now, but we've come out the other side of it with a lot more members, a lot more days running as well, and we are getting nearly full grids on every single race, which is what we like to see. It's going very well at the moment for the MOR Esports League. I do tend to nearly say WRC all the time, as of course that's what I've been saying every single week for the past good few months now, half a year probably, maybe over that. With 6 minutes left, and Mikey Boy across the line again, taking that provisional pole. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting him to improve that much, finding 7/10 on the previous lap. But the Red Bull goes up to the quickest time, 1:10.410, taking pole by 1/10 of a second here. Provisionally, Llama will come out again to try and improve on that. Lawless Fever, though, here in Monaco, is on his way round again. Towards the end of Sector 1, the walls coming at you. It's millimetres away from them. Lawless Fever up by 700th of a second now in Sector 1. Apparently sets a purple Sector 1 here. But we'll only find out if this lap is good, potentially through the second sector and, of course, down towards the final third. Now towards the tunnel. And he's flat on the throttle all the way through. Maybe a distant toe from the driver ahead. He's just a bit further down the road, then braking hard into the chicane. Oh, he braking too hard there. Lawless Fever on the inside line. The front left tyre comes off. And a collision with the barrier here in Monaco as the Ferrari is out of qualifying. And from P3 will not get that chance for pole. One of the favourites for pole position here. And the chance stripped away from him after getting too close to the barrier here in Monaco. Lawless Fever out, and I cannot believe that. I've got to say, one of the worst voice cracks I've had that in a while. I don't really tend to get there very often, but the past 2 streams I've had a few. But Mikey Boy ahead, and by about a tenth, as I said. Lawless Fever, I have to say, was going for pole there and crashes out on the final, probably final qualifying lap they were on. Yellow flag's being shown here. Someone's done it again, I think. Jackie might have done the same, or maybe waiting aside there for a driver to come through. As JP comes on a final few runs here. He's down by 2.9 seconds, so going into the pit lane potentially at the end of this lap, or might be just preparing for another run as he comes around. And will he dive into the pit lane? He does dive into the pit lane. Harvey then across the line through turn 1, and that Cadillac on his way around to try and improve on lap. I'm actually going to cut to Lama, though. I do apologise, because Lama is on a lap time and second place, and this is the lap for pole then in the McLaren. A 1:10.5 and a 1:10.4 is to beat for pole, of course, from Mikey Boy. I don't think Mikey's done yet either. I think he might come out again, depending on the situation. Lama out there and invalidated. I never noticed invalidation then for the McLaren, so can't get close to pole here. It's too far away to get it. And Lama invalidates. What a shame from him. There's Matt Connor on the track. Half a second found then on the last lap, apparently, which isn't too bad. Looks like he's on another lap time here, though, in the Audi. 1:11.265 is his lap time. Only 0.03 of a second slower than Blake ahead of him. Not a lot of time between them. And that can easily be brought down here. It's very close to the wall here for Matt Connor. And we can see how getting too close to the wall can affect your sessions, especially at a track like this. As Lawless Fever, of course, taking the inside line and into the wall, unfortunately for him. Matt Connor crosses the section of corners and does get an invalidated lap. So that'll be the end for him. Jackie on his way around in 8th. Harvey then in 9 and down in the first sector by a tenth of a second. Kian down in P16 through the chicane section is on a lap time. Only 10% battery left here, though, saying that the rest of the lap is fairly flat out. It is a bit of a worry for Kian, who has very low levels of battery. He's going to want to generate that now in towards the final few corners here. Back on the power. Lama in the McLaren does get that chance at pole. A 1:10.0 now from Mikey Boy's 1:10.4. On pole by about 3.5 tenths of a second now. Lama in the McLaren taking pole. Kian on his way round, takes P16 at the minute and back of the grid. What a time from the McLaren. Mikey Boy on his way out of the pit lane here and not giving himself very much time to get on with it. A 1:10 is the, well, probably 1:11 average lap time in a slow lap. You're probably looking at 1:15 maybe to 1:20. As JP retires, Lawless Fever, of course, is out. Jensen's out as well. Mikey comes out for one final run and has given himself literally one time. Won't have enough time now to go for any more laps. As Harvey is also another driver to retire. A lot of people now retiring in the latter stages of this qualifying session. But I'm excited to see what Mikey can bring to the table here. Carmad Kyle starts another lap as well. Around towards the end of Sector 1 for the Haas driver. Looking to find some time, and it is going to be 1.9 seconds down. That is massively off the pace. There's Blake as well. through the first sector now. What's it looking like for the McLaren? He's down by a tenth. Everybody's struggling in them with lap times at the minute. We're going to see what Matt Connor can do through Sector 1. The last two drivers we've watched have disappointed, unfortunately, as can't find time in that first sector. Is there any time to find for Matt Connor? 400ths of a second, in fact, to find for the Audi. Who's looking good. Of course, has those two next sectors to come, but the first sector not looking too bad at all for Matt Connor, as he makes his way all the way down now towards the chicane section, making sure not to take the inside. That was very close to the wall, very nearly an invalidation from him. Managed to save it though, and it is a good lap time so far for Matt Connor through the second sector. 0.3 of a second up now on this lap, and with this kind of pace will be into the 1 minute 10s. One of the only drivers in the 1 minute 10s, not many up there, as Matt Connor round the final turn and towards the line here, down to 8th position, gets knocked back, now trying to make an improvement. Matt across the line, it's only good enough to get back up to 7th, as Mikey Boy here on his final run has invalidated here in Monaco, and second place at best for him at the moment. Jackie down by a lot of time on this lap, so that's the end of qualifying for them. CB improves to 8th place here at the end, and I think if Jackie won't be improving, that is going to be the end of your qualifying session, everybody. It is Lama in the McLaren here on the Tuesday division, season 6, I believe, that we're on. That's insane. Round 2. Lama taking pole here in Monaco. I correct myself, it's season 5. I've got ahead of myself. But we are many seasons in now. For saying that I commentated the first round of the first season, this is the longest by far that I've been with the league, I've got to say. As Lama then in the McLaren, taking pole position by 3.5 tenths of a second then from Mikey Boy, the league owner of the Red Bull, taking the front row of the grid. Then Lawless Fever joined by Carmad Kyle in the second row. Then Jackie and Lose the Ginge, 5 and 6. Matt Connor and CB taking 7 and 8. And the fifth row of the grid occupied by Blake and JP Combs to take the 10th place. Harvey then 11, Jack plays 12. It is Adam 13, JF1 14, P15 Jensen. And Kian takes P16 and dead last for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, qualifying place really matters at a track like this, I have to say, where, of course, it is very, very easy to mess up, and qualifying where, you know, somewhere high up is probably the best choice and the best option, because it's not an easy track to overtake at all. And you won't see many overtakes unless someone has got a massively aggressive driving style, which is going to put both of the cars at risk of retiring, especially at a place like this. I think that's what we want to see on the stream, isn't it? Definitely some aggressive driving here. But keep it clean, of course. But some aggressive overtakes in Monaco is what we want to see. As I mentioned, if you're in the chat and enjoy the action, of course, the race coming up next, if you do enjoy the action, you're going to like it even more if you stick around for the 8 p.m. race tonight. As the 8 p.m. race is where it's where it all started. It's the main one, the big league here in MOR Esports, and there's a lot of fast drivers in there, I have to say, really fast drivers in the Tuesday division at 8 p.m. I'm very excited for it. As Adam says, I'm dive bombing Jack plays into turn 1. Don't suggest it. I do not suggest it. But equally, turn 1, and you know, the start and getting a good start is crucial, because realistically, where are you overtaking on this track? There's not really much places. It's quite a thin track as well. Of course, the generation of cars have, you know, slimmed down slightly, a little bit more narrower now, but still, they are fairly large. And trying to go two abreast through the first sector never ever ends well. You can go two abreast through here, as the cars will fit there, but I guess it is always a worry down towards this braking zone as well. Expect some crazy dives, and I think on the first lap, definitely expect some people to completely cut the chicane. Exactly. No heroics into Sandbot, please. What a quote. The best Monaco Jeff quote ever. I think we all miss Jeff as the engineer. I'm getting sick of Mark on the game talking about the new regulations every time you start your qualifying session. Honestly, that is the most annoying thing that the engineer does in the game. You hear it every single session. I suppose you can probably just turn it off, but haven't actually looked into that. Anyway, the drivers then lining up on the grid, and this is for the Monaco Grand Prix with the second round of the season here on the Tuesday 6 p.m. division. And it's Lama in the McLaren who, at the very end, taking pole position by a good 3.5 tenths of a second. It wasn't a fluke. An absolutely brilliant lap time for Lama from the front. Kian lines up with the back then, P16, and back of the grid here in Monaco. As the drivers await the lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers here in the streets of Monaco for the second round of the season. The lights go out, it is lights out, and away we go in the McLaren with a very nice start then down towards the first corner. Nobody able to challenge him, and it's Mikey Boy then second place, all going goated through the first few corners. It's fairly clean then through the first few. As Looney gets away well by a few tenths of a second. F1 Mikey Boy down, holding second place. Lawless Fever then in third, and the top 3 breaking away. A little bit more carnage then from behind between these. Jackie now with JP up the inside line of him, sending a move on him, and the McLaren gets forced into the wall. Huge crash there from Blake, who somehow manages to continue on with all wheels intact and somehow a bit of wing left on the car as well. Keeping going on the race start, but gets jammed into the barrier, and that is wing damage on the right-hand side, I believe, of that McLaren. Blake continuing on, but it will affect the aerodynamics of the car down the straights, and the cornering will be massively affected as well. Nobody cutting the chicane, though, which is what I thought would happen. The top 3, how have they broken away that much already? I do not know. But the gap 2.6 seconds then from 3rd to 4th. From Lawless Fever to Carmad Kyle at the moment. The top 3 looking good. Lama, Mikey and Lawless all in their own little world. And running away with it already on the second lap of 39 here in Monaco. Nearly 40 laps. A lot of laps then here in Monaco, of course, as the track and the laps are insanely quick. One of the shortest tracks on the calendar. There's a move for Matt Connor trying to get through past the McLaren, and they do go level up to the top of the hill. This could end in tears, but I think Matt Connor does just wait behind in the McLaren. Knows that it might not be the right choice there to make that lunge. His teammate now getting involved. CB round the outside line. So much confidence and intent in that move, and he goes into 8th place. Matt Connor down to 9. You have to wait now. Stare at the back end of his teammate. Will not be happy about that. Jack plays in P10. Is just trying to stay within the action and be involved. I think Adam there as well had a bit of an issue and quite slow round the left-hander hairpin. There's Kian getting a bit closer to Adam there. But just lifting and coasting and getting the battery back up to an optimal level. Of course, this is a track where you can really generate the battery, made up of a few low-speed corners, a lot of high-speed corners as well, for saying that it's a small track. And that is what makes it so dangerous. It's got a good mixture of corners in it. As here comes Blake and Carmad Kyle, the Haas car, slotting in behind an Audi and a McLaren. As Carmad down towards the first corner, might just try and make a lunge here. The Audi's going to go for it, and a move here in the streets of Monaco. CB on the way up then in this race. What a race so far from him. Only 3 laps in, and he goes through to 7th position. I've got to say, really impressed with his start. We're going to have a look at the tyres for now, just see what the drivers have started on then. A few on the mediums. We've got Mikey Boy starting on the softs, and the only driver starting on the softs today. Then we've got a lot on the hards as well, but that does make up quite a bit at the bottom of the grid. A lot of the front on the mediums here. Yellow flags is Harvey and Adam. It's Adam beaching himself now on the inside curve of the hairpin, the slowest corner on the F1 calendar. And Adam never ends well for him in a MOR race. Once again looking like he's going to retire. He can reset to track, but he has been disqualified from the session. What bad luck then for Adam here, as P16 and retired in the middle of the track. Out of the session then, and 15 drivers continue on here in Monaco. Lama ahead by 1.1 seconds from Mikey Boy, then from Lawless Fever. Still, the top 3 though, only you know, within a few tenths of a second. Here comes Lawless Fever on F1 Mikey Boy, and what an overtake that was. We're really getting the action here. Through goes the Ferrari. Gets the move done before the end of Sector 1. You've got to love that then from Lawless Fever, who gets through past the league owner. Mikey Boy drops down to 3rd. And will not be able to challenge again through to the next lap, I believe, because there's not really much overtaking opportunities now from that point on. It is really just the first sector. As well as the Gins with a 3-second time penalty, and the first driver in 4 laps then to get a time penalty here in Monaco this evening. The top 3 doing well, but through this squabbling from 2nd and 3rd place, Lama is being able to just run away with this at the minute, doing a fantastic job at leading this race on the medium compound tyres. He is on the same tyres as Lawless Fever, and a lot of drivers around him as well. JC, man, every race I race in, something unlucky happens to me. I know, mate, honestly, you've got the worst luck in the world. I'm not joking. Every single race, something massively unlucky happens to you. The day that you finish a race well, I think we're all going to have to celebrate. The luck that you get is just awful. And Blake and Jackie seem to be changing places, and I told you it is through the first sector where you need to get it done. I think Blake held 5th place there. Jackie wasn't able to get through. CB, though, is on the charge. CB is on a good run, and by the looks of it, he's had a lot of practice here in Monaco today. He's up 1 place since the start, and he made a great overtake, but you think maybe it was just maybe it was a one-off that he made that overtake. I don't think so. He's on the backside of Jackie here, only 4/10 of a second the gap. And a moment ago, it looked like he was going for the move, and it's contact. Jackie then on the inside. He now hits the barrier in through the chicane. That's another driver claimed by the wall as Jackie retires with the front end left-hand side damage. The wheel comes off. Somehow no safety car. I'm baffled. But we continue on. Honestly, I've got no idea how we didn't get a safety car there through that. The 6 laps in of 39, and Lama ahead now by 1.7 seconds, and by far the best driver in this race at the minute, really pulling away. Got a Mercedes, Lewis the Gins then going slowly, and he finds himself in the runoff. Something happened to him there, must have missed his braking zone. You can see that he apparently hasn't got a wing, but I'm going to assure you that is just a glitch that we do have here, especially on PC, I think, which is a little bit weird, but hopefully something can get sorted. EA on the F1 games never tend to get glitches changed and sorted. The formation lap glitch that was around for many F1 games, I think is still around to this date. And it doesn't happen that much anymore, but it still happens now and then. It's Carmad Kyle then with a 3-second time penalty. The third driver, to get a time penalty. They are starting to creep up with the 14 drivers left in this race. But Jackie and Adam both out of the session. 14 remain. And the leader now getting 2 seconds ahead of the pack. Lawless Fever 2, Mikey Boy 3rd. I don't want to jinx anything, and I probably will do saying this, but I'm going to have to say it. Can we get through this race without a safety car? I don't ever think I've had a Monaco without a safety car before. And there's part of me that feels like they're on reduced. I don't know if they are or not, but that crash from Jackie, I think, fully warranted a safety car. Even if we don't want it, I think it should have come out, and it didn't. As he was fully parked up in the middle of the track. You would expect a safety car to come out through that. But apparently not today. But not much going on around the track. Lewis Ginge has slowed down again, potentially hitting the wall there. He might be missing his braking zones. Just might be struggling a bit here in Monaco to get the car slowed down into the corners. Lama ahead now by nearly 2.6 seconds, and the pure dominant force in this race at the minute. He's done well in the Monday division at 6 p.m. and turning up here on the Tuesday to show that he is the real deal as well. And I would love to see him in the Tuesday division for 8 p.m. because we have got some fast drivers in there, quicker than what you're seeing here today. And Lama, I think, would really bring a fight to some of the front runners here. So I'd love to see him, get in there. The top three quite separated now, unfortunately. Lawless Fever 3 seconds behind the leader. Mikey Boy is 4.6 behind Lawless Fever. Then comes JP Comms in 1 place away from a podium this afternoon. It's not looking too bad at all for him. As in this quiet point, I am going to quickly have a look at the TikTok chat, see what's going on in there, as I haven't decided to check it. 34 people in the TikTok. Nice to see you all with us. I do apologise for not being in here. Nearly 40 people. As someone says, how's it going, Jack? From Static. Static Lazy, I believe that is. Hello, mate. Good to see you. I'm really good, mate. Hopefully you're doing well too. Someone says, are you commentating 8 p.m. because that's the most static lobby of all time? Yes, I am. We'll be commentating 8 p.m. I always am commentating the 8 p.m. Yes, that should be an exciting one indeed. Mikey Boy now decides to go into the pit lane then. This is an interesting one. What's Mikey going to get on? Or has he got new tyres on already? I think he's got the new mediums. So he's doing a 2-stop here then, because he was on the mediums beforehand. So 2-stop strategy for Mikey Boy with 30 laps remaining. And that may sound like a lot, but with a lap of 1 minute and 10 seconds, you're looking at just over 30 minutes left of this session. But Lama, massively dominant, and I've not seen a domination like this for a little while. It's really early on. The time that he's gaining from the guys behind is very impressive indeed. He was just over the 4 second, as I mentioned him. He does come down. Lawless Fever 2, though, still now JP into the podium places. Blake up to 4, CB in 5, and he's doing pretty good at the moment, is CB, on the 8-lap-old mediums. Who's the next medium driver to come in then? Because Mikey's done it and got the tyres changed. Is that going to work out for him here? CB coming round towards the final corner. He doesn't think it's the right time to do so just yet, so continuing on. Matt Connor and Jensen seem to change places. Jensen trying to make a bit of a comeback from when he started at the very back. And it's P12 for him now, ahead of Matt Connor, and ahead of Harvey is JF1 picking up a 3-second time penalty here. As Jackie leaves the session, unfortunately he did retire earlier on. Harvey with a 3-second penalty now as well. We have got a few people with time penalties, and they are slowly but surely racking up this evening. So, Kian has got JF1 hunting him down. I'd love to see this fight happen. Then the Racing Bull trying to catch Kian in the Cadillac. Would be quite a nice battle to watch. As Mikey Boy getting ahead of Jack Plays now as well. Past the Yacht Club, the Marina, and into 7th place for Mikey. And CB then in the pit lane, and one of the medium runners now comes in, the second medium runner of the day, getting brand new tyres on. Mikey was the first. It's going to be the mediums again here for CB. It's a 2-stop strategy for probably all of the drivers here on the mediums at the moment. I'm interested to see how this goes for them. The top three massively separated. It is 7 seconds the gap now to Lawless Fever. Something drastic has happened there, because it was only 4 seconds a moment ago. In a lap and a half, or maybe 2 laps, it's gone up to 7.5. I think Lawless Fever might have made a mistake, which has cost him dearly, because Lama now finding a lot of time on him. And ahead by even more is the McLaren. Looking good so far. JP comes then in the podium place as well. These medium runners are going longer than what Mikey's decided to do. Mikey is coming through the pack though and making the places up into 5th place now, trying to make sure that the drivers around him aren't holding him up. And I wouldn't expect it to be very long before he reaches Blake here. He's on the brand new mediums compared to Blake's 11 lap hold mediums. The gap 3.8 seconds, and we'll keep an eye on it because I'm expecting it to come down quite drastically here. Aaron in the chat, good to see you, mate. Welcome back to the stream. Nice to see returning people joining us then for the commentaries in MOR. But it is lap 12 of 39. Lama ahead in the McLaren. He was just joining us. He's dominated properly so far. Nearly 9 seconds ahead of the Ferrari. You do tend to get, if a driver's comfortable in Monaco, they tend to dominate. As Matt Connor gets ahead of Kian here. A bit of a battle going on in the mid-pack of about 4 drivers who are involved. CB's not too far back here. Potentially room for an overtake very soon. As the Racing Buller Jay doesn't want to wait here. Hits the inside wall there. It could be slight wing damage for the RB. There he comes then, foot flat to the floor as he tries to catch up here with Kian in towards turn 1. The move needs to get done really in the first sector. So always contacts and he definitely won't get through, but somebody behind him might get ahead. It's CB now on brand new tyres. He comes through to 9th with a lot more grip than JF1. Through goes CB in the Audi. He's got Kian in front of him now as well on older tyres. CB coming through the order and they're all making way for him. The Cadillac though won't do so. Kian shutting the door. These guys run each other off the road at the back. Jensen in front of Jay here. Jay drops down to P11. The CB catching Kane and a move to the inside line under the tunnel. And ahead he goes then into 8th place. JP and Mikey Boy find themselves battling. And a brilliant round the outside line overtake for Mikey, which doesn't actually get completed. Coming back at him though, JP ahead. Mikey will have to settle for 4th at the minute. But lap 14 to 39, and this man is not going to let off just yet. Newer mediums, and this move easily can get done in the first sector. He takes it towards the outside line. Mikey Boy with so much more grip. Goes ahead then into 3rd. And a brilliant overtake for the Red Bull. Honestly, we've had a lot more overtakes than I expected us to have here in Monaco today. With Mikey making a beautiful round the outside line move there. A lot of confidence in that overtake. And actually, I'd go as far as to say, for a Monaco race, it's been quite enjoyable, to be honest. Maybe Monaco with MOR isn't too bad. Maybe that is what is going on here, because with every other league, it seems to drag. But this hasn't been too bad today, as Lawless Fever will cross the line with 10.2 seconds to the leader of this race. It's not where he'd like to be. Oh, even then, it might have been that. It might be why the gap got so big earlier on. Making mistakes like that, it's cost him a second again there to Lama. Just spun the rears up, and that is the mediums just trying to work, but too much work being asked of them now at this stage in their life. It's 14 laps on them around this track. It's wearing them out quite a bit. CB and P7, there's Matt Connor in 8. And I think they just change around. CB managing to get into 7th place ahead of his teammate. CB doing surprisingly well today, I've got to admit. Not expecting him to do as well as he is, but making his way through the order today. But as I mentioned, if you're in the chat enjoying this as well, as speaking, right, there we go, Lawless Fever in the pit lane. If you are enjoying this, make sure you stick around for the Tuesday Division 8 PM race later on. It's an even better event where I've been there since the start, and I do love that league. I know a lot of the drivers in there as well, so it's a superb one to watch, and definitely be there at 8 o'clock tonight. As Lawless Fever then does come out of the pit lane on brand new hards. Does that mean that he's going to try and go to the end on them, or is that just take the hards now as long as you can and then back onto the mediums till the end and maybe give him that medium tyre stint advantage at the end? Lawless Fever going for a bit of a different strategy to Mikey Boy and CB and Jack Plays, a few other drivers around here then, who started on the mediums and have gone back to the medium tyres. So a two-stop strategy and forcing himself onto a two-stop by doing that. As Jack Plays up, never mind, Jensen up the inside line of Jack Plays and gets ahead. The Alpine's going to try and get him back though, as he won't let him have it that easily. The Haas gets pushed to the outside, but we'll have the inside on the next set of corners. Through the hairpin we go, cutting him off, both into the barrier. That's going to be front wing damage for both drivers. It's continuing on for Jensen, and coming out worse is Jack Plays there, down to P10, and Carmad Kyle gets in the middle of them both. And now the teammates battle away. Carmad goes into 8, Jensen drops down to 9, potential wing damage on the car as well, which, you know, might be causing him to lose time. JP Combs then coming on for brand new tyres, and it is the hards for him as he gets them sorted. Lama now, the only driver that hasn't made a pit stop, and he's 18, nearly 19 seconds ahead of F1 Mikey Boy, who is on new tyres. Lama on the old 16-lap olds. When will he make a pit stop? He's already coming round to lap Harvey, and he has lapped his first drive of the day in 17 laps. And Lama now pulls it into the pit lane, doesn't speed, takes it in at a good speed here in Monaco and up towards the pit box. It is the hards coming on for Lama then. What can he do in this session and the last few stints for him? 18 seconds to Mikey. Is that enough to come out of the pit lane ahead? Of course, he will basically miss turn 1 coming out of the pit lane as he heads out now. Mikey on his way round. Mikey's past him through the first corner though. Can he make it back? It's going to be level. He has to slow down. Mikey Boy just about getting in front here after making that early pit stop earlier on. Comes out in the lead, but only marginally. And if Lama gained a few more seconds over Mikey, that wouldn't have even happened. That was insanely close to the point where the McLaren actually had to step on the brakes because something could have catastrophically happened there. But Mikey got through. But on 9-lap-old mediums now, the deficit 9 laps, which is not really what he wants. Lama, of course, now on the brand new tyres, and this is his chance to catch up and get back past. Well, round the final corner and towards the line then for F1 Mikey Boy. He has got Lama catching up on him though. And this might be a bit of a struggle here for Mikey to keep himself in front. Lama catching on much fresher tyres and the grip levels are going to be all there compared to Mikey. 20 laps to go. And Lama looking for that overtake up the inside. Doesn't make it work just yet. As now with a superb exit, tries the outside, gets blocked up, now tries the inside, gets blocked up again. No room to make a move, and he knows he definitely cannot send it through there. Prime place to lose your left-hand side wheel. Lama just having to stay in the tow here. Well, these guys still battling away, and it's going to be Lama who does try to get in front of Mikey. This time still can't do it, but with the better grip, with the more power, sending it up the inside line. Mikey's not going to want to let him have it, but gets run wide just before the left-hand side hairpin. Lama gets in front then in the McLaren. It's Mikey Boy down to 2. Then comes Lawless Fever third, and he is 1.5 seconds behind, so not too far back here. With 19 laps to go in this race, we are over half race distance now. Oh, that was a bit of damage potentially there for the Red Bull. As hitting the left-hand tyre. Might have been Lawless Fever doing the same there as well. I think you can visibly see it there. Yeah, it looks a little bit damaged. As Kian with a 3-second penalty. A few penalties now for the drivers. There's still quite a few at the front that haven't got one. Lawless Fever and Mikey, though, change places as Mikey comes into the pit lane again for new tyres. The mediums will come off on the brand new hards. Well, Lama is your leader, and it's been mesmerising to see. He's done absolutely brilliantly well. Pure domination from him. As in the pit lane for Jensen then, who is going to get some new tyres, and those new tyres are brand new mediums on his way out of the pits in P12 as well. So has a bit of making up to do here, quite far down the order. It's a bit of a shame for him. He will come out ahead of Kian here, though, who is going to try and match him on pace and speed, but wasn't able to get in front just yet. And Lama now taking the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's on the roll, he's on the ball, and absolutely flying. Don't think these guys will be able to get anything out of that, and Cadillac having to wait behind for a minute. Well, Lama ahead, and he's got 3.8 to Lawless Fever. Lawless Fever has really shot himself in the foot with the time penalty, because even if he does start to catch, or maybe, you know, if Lama got a penalty, then Lawless would have been pretty much in the right kind of zone to take the win if it came to that. But with a penalty, it's completely ruined that chance, and it's going to have to be on pure pace now for him. The back end just coming out underneath, and the front wing looks slightly damaged as well, to be honest. As Blake retires, Blake out of the session. That's a huge shunt down in towards the that left-hand side again. The chicane claims another victim. As Blake, Lewis, the Gins, Jackie and Adam all out of the session today. Harvey with a 3-second time penalty here for multiple warnings. We're going to take a look at the penalties in a moment then, just to see how that is going. Penalties there then. It is Jensen with 3 for Jack Plays, Kian, JP and Lawless Fever. Then 6 seconds to Karmad Kyle and JF1, and also, yeah, just those two, sorry. And then 12 seconds to Harvey. Which is absolutely insane. Huge time penalties. Position change on the screen as well, and the biggest position gainer is actually tied between Jensen J, Jack Plays and JP, all up 5 places since the start. JP is on the backside of CB, who honestly has been doing a very good job today, CB. on the 12-lap old mediums, though, and at some point it is going to be the time for him to, you know, come into the pit lane and put new tyres on. And speak of that, he does come in now. Mikey Boy at the same time picks up a 3-second penalty. It's coming in. CB gets on. It's got to be the hards now, isn't it? It is the hards until the end of this race. Jensen and Jay, I think, swap round places as well. Jensen in 9. Because Matt Connor, CB, and Lama, the only 3 drivers that have not yet got a penalty today. Clean driving from them at the moment. And CB, let's just have a look at who would actually benefit from it. Because Lama, of course, is in front anyway. It would be CB at the moment, if he gains 2.6 seconds, would get 5th place. But, of course, the gap being 8.5, it's not going to be good enough at the minute. Matt Connor would gain a place on Jack Plays because the gap's only a second between them. There might be some other position changes down at the back as well. Comrade Kyle in 5. He now finds his way into the pit lane. The Haas car coming out on brand new hards. And a lot of drivers now are opting for the hards for their final run, their final stint. The Twitch looking good as well. The Twitch, sorry, the TikTok and the Twitch. There's 20 people in the TikTok and 17 in the Twitch at the moment. Jensen now with a 3-second time penalty. If you're in the chat, let us know who you think's going to win the race. Give us a race prediction. These guys are going at it. The 2 Cadillacs then come out side by side. Keaton goes through and puts his teammate in the wall. I don't think that was intentional, but crossed over. And Harvey hitting the barrier there. That's going to be heavy front wing damage. It is, left and right. As Merck thinks Lama's going to go ahead and win it. I actually agree. Being one of the only drivers without a time penalty and being 5 seconds ahead, I think it's inevitable, to be honest, that Lama's going to go ahead and claim this one today. Harvey with a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. As now he retires from the session in the pit lane. And that's front wing damage for a driver there as well. I just saw it lingering on the track. That's another driver out. Harvey, Blake, Lewis, Jens, Jackie and Adam. The 5 drivers out of this Grand Prix today in Monaco. Which isn't too bad, actually. I've got to say, for a Monaco race, it's been overly clean. And I've seen a lot more people retire. Of course, we still have got about 12 laps left. But even then, I think on the whole, it's been okay at the moment, which is what we like to see. But Lama is ahead by 6.5 seconds and on the younger tyres compared to Lawless Fever behind and without a time penalty. So by far the best looking driver at the minute in this race. As up towards the line to begin lap 28 of 39. Just 11 laps to go. Well, the action, of course, dying down at the minute here in Monaco. Nobody really within a few tenths of a second of each other, apart from maybe these guys, but some of them are lapped. As Jack Plays, I think, is left as well. He's on the ghosted mode. So it is a shame. Action dying down now for the final 10 laps. And honestly, we've had a few DNFs where you'd think, surely a safety car, but it hasn't come about. No safety car at all so far in Monaco, and we've got 10 more laps to go, and that's broken a record for me because I've never done a Monaco race without a safety car. Never, ever, once. Not a single time. Always at least a safety car or two. And today, haven't got one just yet. Kian picks up a 3-second time penalty then here in Monaco, as in the pit lane for Matt Connor with brand new mediums. Matt should have a bit of advantage here. He's got 10 laps to go on medium tyres. It's not looking too bad, to be honest, for him. And I'm expecting him to have a bit of pace here, especially around some guys that have been on the tyres for nearly 10 laps. Well, 9 laps remaining, everybody. 9 more to go here in the Monaco Grand Prix, and a dominant drive from McLaren of Lama all the way through, leading by 8.5 seconds over Lawless Fever, who has a time penalty, the same as Mikey Boy and JP behind that. CB is the only other driver without a time penalty. Let's just see if JP's penalties have got worse or not. Let me just double check. JP's penalties are still on 3, so at the minute, CB would not get ahead of JP on penalties. The penalty won't affect JP at all right now, as Jack Plays getting overtaken by Jensen, who gets into P8. And it's still going on all the way through the tunnel. Here comes Jack Plays, who just tries to get in front, but not able to do so on the backside of the house. There's Deck in the chat. I was supposed to be racing. He just got home. Deck, mate, if there's room, you've got to get in the 8 p.m. reserves, because the 8 p.m. Tuesday is the best one. Try and reserve in it if you can. I don't know if you'll get a spot, but more than worth trying. It is absolutely brilliant, that one. Jack Plays is starting to catch Jensen again. Jensen on a bigger time penalty, so the Alpine would benefit here from getting past, trying to get in front. Just can't find his way through just yet. Still holding 9th. Looking for the move the inside. It's getting massively dangerous here. Taking a while for them to come around there as well. I thought they both into the barrier, but continuing on. Jensen in 8. Jack Plays just behind that in 9. He still can't force his way past here in Monaco with the, I think, 7 laps we have left. Carmad Kyle takes a 3-second time penalty. That driver now has 9 to his name. which would it affect him? Let's have a look. We've got Matt Connor behind, 3-second penalty. I think Matt Connor would actually get ahead of Carmad Kyle here with that time penalty. And Lama's flat out, taking the gap to over 10 seconds now from Lawless Fever. Absolutely rapid in tonight's race, and the best driver I have seen probably ever in Monaco dominate these streets. What a drive from him here in Monaco. Absolutely love how well he's doing. Hopefully he can keep it up and take this win come the end of the race here this afternoon. Locking up there in towards the chicane. Can't afford to make any big mistakes. Of course, he would like to make that winning margin massively, massively large as well. But still, to say that Lama and CB, two drivers and the only drivers without a time penalty, is crazy. Everybody else at least getting a 3-second, and to be honest, majority have 6. Maybe 2 have 9 seconds. There's also, yeah, 3 with 6. And I think 3 with 3 actually as well. So it's pretty spaced out between them. As Jack Plays and Jensen in 89, they start to battle away. Again, Jack Plays gets awarded with another time penalty of 3 seconds. That adds to his tally of 6 seconds now. As Matt Connor ahead of that, did just get oh my God, I can't speak. Did just get ahead of Carmad Kyle and got back and through. Jensen and Jack Plays still though battling away in the closing stages of this event. Through the flat out S's there, one of the best corner on the F1 calendar, I have to say. Absolutely love it, taking it flat out through the streets. As Jack Plays around the final turn, has got Jensen in his sights for half a second. Just trying to catch up, but I don't think he's able to. A car coming out of the pit lane here, it might be JF1. He pulls onto the track now, Carmad car with a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting, and I bet that was at the chicane. And the marshals waving blue flags, saying that the back marker needs to let the rest of the drivers through. I don't think the Red Bull's going to be able to get ahead here. He might do. As the ghosting is on, the ghosting gives him a helping hand. Jack Plays, tries to get in front of, there's a Red Bull, it's a back marker. It's Mikey Boy. Mikey Boy involved here. Of course, they're ghosted because he's a back marker. He comes through now to third. Just trying to pull away from the back markers now, I guess, for him. With Lawless Fever in front of that, running his own lonely race with a 3-second time penalty. Carmad Kyle retires from the session in the pit lane at the end, leaving us with only 10 more drivers left here in Monaco. And 4 laps left after this one. Of course, as I mentioned, I'm live again at 8 p.m. to do it all again for the Tuesday division. Make sure you don't go anywhere because the stream will be getting started basically 40 minutes after we finish this one. And it should be even better with the 8 p.m. Tuesday group. And Jeff on with a 3-second penalty now. He has got 12 and the biggest penalty of the evening. Towards the line, start lap 37. Only a few left now for Lama before he can claim the win in Monaco. A good win to take, even if it is on the F1 game. Still a skill, I've got to say, to get round here without, you know, a warning or a penalty or wing damage even. That's a main one. And no wing damage at all for Lama. I don't think I've seen him change it at all, as he's looked really clean, kept his nose clean all the way through. As Jack plays on the backside of Jensen, finally battling away with him again. And through the first sector is the main place to get it done, and he is going to try it up the inside line here, forcing Jensen with nowhere to go. Closing the door now for the inside, not letting that Haas get a sneak. Tries to get in though, and does get cut off. The Alpine gets punted down to 8th place, and Jensen continues racing on. No waiting around there. Doesn't believe he was in the wrong at all, and will continue on. It's cutting the chicane for Jensen, and another time penalty for him. As Chat plays even with him cutting the chicane. Wasn't able to catch up one single bit, basically. Still running in 8th, but somehow getting through. Jensen slowing down. Not too sure what happened there. And CB's also starting to catch JP. This is good for CB, meaning he is on 4th place at the minute, even if he doesn't get ahead because of JP's time penalty. CB cannot afford to get one now in the last 2 laps of this Grand Prix. Through the S there, absolutely beautiful corner at flat out. And the Audi in sight of JP. Thought he was going to go for a lunge up the inside there, decided not to. Now around the final corner with a foot flat towards the line. This is CB's chance now, the first sector, to win it on track, to try and get ahead of this Aston Martin. Just looking for the outside line, doesn't open up for him. And if he can't get a head down into here, which I don't think he will, he's probably got 1 lap now at getting ahead to be your leader. Lama crosses the line then to start the final lap of the Grand Prix here in Monaco to round off a fairly decent race. It was pretty jam-packed all the way through till the last 10 laps, where it has unfortunately died down, but I've got to give him credit for continuing on. What a brilliant Monaco Grand Prix it's been overall. Round goes Kian in the hairpin, in the chicane, sorry. You know, and we see a lot of drivers go around there. He rejoins on, but we're going to go back to Lama to see him through till the end of the lap at the minute with a winning margin, which is going to be more than 20 seconds because of Lawless Fever's time penalty. It's going to be probably 22 seconds maybe at most here. Could be even more, to be honest. Might be even more than that. 22 seconds or more gap for a Grand Prix win. Lama in the McLaren does pretty damn well in the Monday. Turns up for the Tuesday division and showing them how it is done here in his McLaren. Round the final turn and in the streets of Monaco, Lama wins the Monaco Grand Prix from Lawless Fever then, who is over 20 seconds with his penalty added down the road. An insane win margin for Lama, as the Ferrari will get there and take 2nd place at the end of this race here in Monaco. P2 for him, and after persevering on, it is F1 Mikey Boy in 3rd place, on his way round the final few sets of corners and up towards the line for him to take 3rd place and the final spot on the podium. A superb drive from him in the Red Bull, and the fastest lap at the end as well, so an extra point back there for Mikey. As JP still fighting with CB. CB not wanting to let it go, and there's a back marker in the middle of this as well. But at the very end, JP across the line will take 4th on track, but CB takes it on time penalties. And more than ending everybody to the Monaco Grand Prix. As race done and dusted. we'll be back very soon for the 8 p.m. race in about 40 minutes' time. Here's your finishing results then, everybody. It's race winner Lama, fastest lap to Mikey, driver of the day to CB, as well as most overtakes and cleanest driver award. Right then, everybody, Lama in the McLaren taking that win from Lawless Fever, second place. Mikey taking the podium place in third. What a drive from everybody here, and well done to everybody finishing this race. It's a pretty hard one to do. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Make sure you're here for the 8 p.m. race in 40 minutes' time. Have a good evening if you're not, and good night.